I was like, I've never seen Tony with a hat on.
See?
Who is that guy?
Yeah.
All right. It says we're good to go whenever you're ready, Commission President Rocky Smith.
All right, we are calling together the City Commission meeting, special meeting for February 20th, 2021. And we have, let's do the roll call.
Commissioner Denise McGriff,
Present and not distorted.
Commissioner Rachel House Smith,
You're here. Not I.
Commissioner Frank O'Donnell,
Here.
Commission President Rocky Smith.
Here. All right, and we have just one item for our general business, and that is 2A resolution number 21-13, waiving electrical permit fee for reconnecting power due to the winter storm. And who's
I'll go ahead and have Laura give this.
all right, Laura Turway.
Thank you very much. The severe weather event over the past 2 weeks caused some homes to lose power due to a severed electrical service line between the power poles and the house. And so according to Oregon revised statutes, power utility companies may only energize the electrical service if a permit from the local inspecting authority is issued to ensure that the installation is safe. So this requirement doesn't apply to all of those who simply lost power. Rather, it's limited to those who have physically lost their electrical service connection. The building division offers a $124 permit, electrical reconnect permit to inspect the weatherhead and the meter-based connections and the grounding system on site. And so we have been issuing and doing these inspections over the event. We brought our inspectors so we can work over the weekend to help people get power sooner. We've issued 10 reconnect permits where we've accepted the fee, and that was before the end of close of business Friday. Since then, we have another 12 that have happened today. And so we have a total of 22 permits. This proposed resolution would help those which have lost an electrical service line from damage caused by the storm by waiving the fee for electrical reconnection permit. In this resolution, we'll reimburse those who have already paid, and then we will not charge a fee moving forward for the permits that are submitted and through March 31st, 2021, if they're associated with this winter weather event. I'm here to answer any questions that you have.
All right, Commissioner Lyle Smith.
Thank you. So first of all, I want to say that I really appreciate this commission coming together this afternoon to work on this, and staff. I know it's probably not what you wanted to do on a Saturday afternoon, but we're all stepping in when we need to. And we have a lot of community members that are really have been through a lot and are really hurting because of this. They've lost a lot of food. They've had all kinds of unexpected expenses because of this. And I really felt strongly. I found out about this last night. And there was a post online that the fee was $1,000. And my first response was to email Tony and find out. It was like, it's certainly not $1,000. So I got some more information, but clearly our community needs some assistance, and I felt like this was a minimal thing that we could be doing, along with everything else that we're doing. I know our city is working really hard to get our community back on its feet, and I really appreciate it. But this was another thing that I believe the folks who have lines that are disconnected from their house, they are most likely been some of the longest people without power at this point, and have been really struggling. And they really felt, I think they kind of feel like this was like another blow to them when they found out about needing a permit. So I assume that the city will keep records. I know when I was talking about this with Tony earlier, a lot of times the electricians are the ones that are filing the permits on behalf of the homeowner. And so, it's really important that our homeowners use certified and, licensed electricians, check their bill, to make sure that if we waive the fee, that waiver is passed on to the customer. Unfortunately, there's sometimes companies that take advantage of disasters, and I don't want that to happen to our constituents either. So, this is what we can do. Constituents, please be diligent. If we pass this resolution, but I'm where I was going with that was I would assume that the building department would keep a record of the permits that were issued. So if they got an invoice and for some reason they felt like they got the waiver, they could check right with the city and say, no, we issued the permit and the fee was waived in that sense. Like there would be some kind of documentation.
Yes, there would be.
Yeah, so that to me, that's like the best fail-safe kind of thing that we could do to kind of say, here's what the city is saying, that there was no charge, and therefore the electrical company, there should be no charge, for this permit. And anyway, I was thinking about that, Mr. Conkle, after you and I talked about that this morning. That was the only kind of checks and balances that I could think we could do. But anyway, I hope you all support this. I'm happy to make a motion after everybody else speaks and asks questions and stuff.
All right, Commissioner McGriff.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And I will say for the record that right now there's no place I'd rather be than assisting the community. And for those who are watching online, I want you to know that I'm in the same boat that you are. I do have my power back. And I do have my heat back, but I still have a gigantic tree on my roof, which I am dealing with. So my sympathies go with everyone because we're kind of all in the same boat. I do want to emphasize to our community at large, to reiterate what Commissioner Lyle Smith said, that please get a licensed, certified, and bonded electrician to do this work for you. This is not something you should be attempting alone. Also, I had a question just about a half an hour ago about why they had to get a permit in the first place. And I said, we follow the state of Oregon building codes, and electrical permits for this type of work are required by state. And so that's not anything we're imposing on people. This is us following the state regulations. I support us moving forward, and I would like to ask the city manager that after the 31st, when maybe our second meeting in April, that we could get a report back on how many permits we issued under this particular process through March 31st, and also an assessment on the revenue, or excuse me, it's not revenue, excuse me, what the cost was to us. So I can be very short, one page, doesn't have to be anything real elaborate since we already keep those records. But I want to thank staff for taking the time today to put this together. I'm sure they had other things to do, and they're very tired, as many of us are, and did contact people at the high school today and get correct information to them. Again, I never know where this information comes from. I had also seen the $1,000 permit fee, and I said, no, that is not what it cost. And I said, it's probably under $150, which was my recollection from having done this myself. So I was able to get correct information from staff to confirm what I already knew and pass that on to the public. And so I was on the phone most of the afternoon, off and on, with the staff at the high school, fielding some questions that were basic questions that we already had talked about. So thank you.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
I'll keep it a lot shorter than my counterparts. I agree with Commissioner McGriff. Let's do safe rehookups. Let's use the right people. Other than that, I'm going to leave it to city staff to administer the program appropriately, make sure there's no fraud involved and that people are properly reimbursed. And other than that, I don't care if it's $25. These people have been through enough, and every little bit helps. So I'm sure, and I also want to say it's not any one member of this commission that's in favor, that we all are unified, and as I'm sure the vote will show, in helping those members of our community that are already going through some difficult times. And with that, I'm done. Thank you, sir.
All right, I won't add too much to that other than I agree with what has already been said. I'm still without power as well. So I know this has not been an easy week for sure. And I know that it may not be resolved immediately either. I'm kind of just like, oh, hopefully Monday, but I don't have any clue. So do we have a motion?
Yes,
Sure,
I'd like to move.
I'd like to move the resolution number 21-13.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded.
Commissioner Frank O'Donnell,
Aye.
Commissioner Denise McGriff,
Aye.
Commissioner Rachel L. Smith,
Aye.
Commission President Rocky Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes.
So one more thing, Commissioner Smith, is there any chance I could either bring you some dinner or invite you down to my house for dinner?
No, well, thank you. I appreciate it, but I'm fine. I'm not at home at the moment, so.
Okay, well, just let me know. Mac and cheese can be on the menu.
Okay, the rain check. All right. With that, is that everything? Is any other? Okay.
Tony, do we want to give an update on the PGE call that I know you and I were on it? I don't know if anybody else was on that call this afternoon.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead, and then I'll fill in anything else.
Yeah. So in summary, a couple things. It sounds like Oregon City and the Canby area was, really the hardest hit area. There are about 100 PGE crews working in Clackamas County, and 27 of those are actually in Oregon City and Canby. That's far more than the number of crews that are in any of the other cities, Westland, Lake Oswego, Wilsonville. They went through the numbers. We still have about 6,600 customers that are without power in Oregon City. I do believe, though, I'm seeing lots of reports of things coming back on pretty rapidly today. And PGE said that they thought that the majority of folks would be back online with power by the end of day tomorrow. There will certainly be outliers. There will be folks in the rural areas, in particular rural areas of the county that are harder to get to, that probably won't be back on by tomorrow. Also, if your line was disconnected to your house, so the whole reason we're talking about this is that permit that you need, those special cases are going to take a little bit longer for them to get back online, but PGE can do all the connection work and make sure that they're ready for when the house gets the electrician to come and reconnect. So all in all, it sounds really positive. We're definitely moving in the right direction. PGE had multiple main transmission lines that were down, and quite a number of substations. And it wasn't until Tuesday that they actually got all the substations back online. So you can imagine they can't even work. They can't even get neighborhoods online of substations. It's a hierarchical grid, and kind of an unusual situation to have major transmission lines down. And we had that. And what we learned was that those lines were designed for up to a half an inch of ice. And as you all know, we had about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of ice in the Oregon City area and on those lines. So between that and the trees that were down, it's just created this monumental event. And so I know people are frustrated, but I think PGE, they've brought in, they normally have around 250 personnel, and they have brought in personnel from other states and other communities, and they're now working about almost 1,200 people on the ground. So that's how much they have, really expanded their personnel working on the ground. So they're working hard. They're working 24 hours around the clock. And I'm really hoping that our community, the majority of our community, will be back online by the end of day tomorrow. Tony, did I miss anything? Any other key points?
No, that sounds pretty accurate.
All right. Thank you for that.
Commissioner Lyle Smith, will you reiterate again that you were talking about a call? You kind of skipped over that quickly so that the public understands you were talking about the PGE call you had. You said utility, and, we want to be clear to the public that they know we're talking about our utility.
Yeah, so Clackamas County organized, PGE reached out to Clackamas County and asked if we wanted to have a call of elected leaders. It was organized in less than 24 hours. We received the email last night from the county administrator to elected officials to have a chance to hear from PGE, get an update from PGE, and also ask questions. And, we asked some really pointed questions, and we also asked some really helpful questions of like, what about, care facilities? And if we hear of specific situations that maybe need extra assistance or care or should be on the priority list, how do we make sure that they're on that list, like senior care centers and stuff like that. So lots of good questions, lots of, obviously we can't go through all of those here, but lots of discussion too about future resilience and the repair and maintenance of the lines and stuff like that. But so that was the call, and it lasted for just over an hour today. Had about 55 people on it. It was a very quickly organized, and it was very good to hear from a whole set of PGE folks, including the vice president of PGE. I think he was the primary spokesman for PGE today.
Thank you for that clarification. I was on 43 yesterday. They shut it down today to take care of trees and things. Everything from Merrillhurst to Market of Choice was down, and Market of Choice is still closed, which is, know what that's going to end up being like. But
my understanding was that closure yesterday saved 4 days. My understanding is that closure of Oregon State Highway 43 yesterday saved 4 days of work.
Yes.
So it took coordination with ODOT, law enforcement, obviously to protect and close off the streets, but it was really, really needed. I think it was a primary transmission line that was going down 43 that really probably made a difference for both Oregon City and likely West.
Yes. Yeah, it did. I could see it down in places, and trees had taken it out pretty much up and down the corridor. It wasn't anything dangerous. You could still drive it, but they had to get it out of the way and get the lines back up. So,
yeah, that was one of the first updates that they provided, and kind of said how successful that was. It was kind of unusual for them to close a whole highway, a whole stretch of road and it was closed from 9 a.m. It was supposed to be closed from 9 a.m. to 11 last night. So it sounds like it was very successful.
Yeah, it's back open now.
I drove it yesterday as well. I was amazed by the damage. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think that is everything, right? Anything else? All right. With that, we are adjourned for the evening. Enjoy
Thank you all.
of your weekend.
Thank you. Yep.
You too.
Oh, before we go, we probably should address the people have been calling about the drop site.
Oh, Cove.
Do we need?
So we had initially spun up two sites, one at the Cove, one at Clackamas Community College. We really do appreciate the help from Clackamas Community College, but the site is just not big enough for the demand. It filled up extremely quickly, and the amount of time and staff that it takes to then clear that site to make it usable again, we felt that it was better to consolidate into the Cove, where we've got enough space to be able to bring people into a part of the Cove, move materials around, get them to another location where we can start grinding the material on the site. We really can't have the public around that grinder. It's a very, very large grinder. So that's the Cove site is large enough that we can continue to have people coming while we're grinding material. We just couldn't do that at CCC. And honestly, with just the demand that we saw today, CCC would have been filled up immediately. And we're just, it just doesn't make sense. It's just unfortunately not a big enough site for what we need to do. So I realize it's an inconvenience. We are just requesting patience. It's going to be open the rest of this week through next weekend, through the end of the month. So if the lines are too long, we're not shutting it down. You've got another 8 days to utilize the facility, and we'll reassess as we keep going. But just from a logistics and staffing and operations, the CCC site it was too small. So we did need to consolidate into the Cove.
Thank you, Tony, for clarifying that so that the public is aware. I know we've got it posted, but it's always nice for people to hear it.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Bye.